Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Caswell Cooke Show. My name's Caswell Cooke, and we're here live on all kinds of channels. If you're watching us on YouTube or on one of the very many Facebook pages that we are coming at you on, welcome to the show. We're kind of all over the place digitally, so we always like to know which platform you're watching. Tonight, we're going to continue our streak of having these amazing guests that we've been having since COVID started, and tonight. This actor we're going to bring on was in so many movies that Blazing Saddles, Paper Moon, Fletch, Back to the Future Part 3. He was on all sorts of TV shows, from The A-Team to The Fall Guy, Alice, all kinds of great stuff. Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds. He was on 47 of those episodes, believe it or not. So without further ado, all the way from Texas, Ben, our producer, is going to bring on the legendary Burton Gillam live. How are you?
Hi, Caswell. I couldn't be better. I'm so proud to be.
That's great to hear. I thank you for joining us via StreamYard, and we're live and out there to the world. And we wanted to, talk to you about, your career, about things that you hope to do when COVID is over. But I wanted to start with, I know that you were going to come to our town in Westerly, Rhode Island last summer, and then you had a bit of a health scare. Tell the audience how you came out of that.
It was 7 months of the worst time in my life. I was diagnosed with cancer, but we caught it real quick. But even though it's just a small amount of cancer, you have to treat it as though it's stage 5. So for 7 months, actually for 36 treatments, I went through the roughest time of my life, and we beat it. We did beat it. After 7 months, we did what they call a PET scan, a PT scan, and it showed that I was cancer-free. And so now, for the last 2 months, I've just been trying to get my strength back, and I'm doing that. I'm starting to play golf again. So I'm back. I'm ready to go.
Well, we're hoping that, everything works in our favor and that we're able to, get you to come to Rhode Island this summer. So you go from one of the largest states to the tiniest state in the nation, which I have heard that there are ranches in Texas that are bigger than the size of Rhode Island.
I don't doubt it. The King Ranch, I don't know how many square miles and acres it is, but yeah. And I've been to Rhode Island one time about 3 years ago. We went up to all through Connecticut and Massachusetts and saw all the fall change of the color. Oh, it was beautiful, beautiful.
That's awesome. Well, we're hoping to have you come, and we're gonna obviously pick a movie that you were in and have you meet and greet some of our people at the drive-in. Have you ever have you ever done a signing at a drive-in before?
Never.
So see, something first for everything. So let's go back in time, Burton, and I was really I had no idea that out of 217 fights, you won 201 of them when you were a boxer in the Coast Guard. Now, how did you become a Coast Guard boxer?
Well, actually, most of my fights were not in the Coast Guard, but my brother had been a boxer in the Golden Gloves when I was 16. And I said, golly, I think I might do that next year. And he said, oh, you'll get hurt. Well, I won my first 6, and then I lost. But then I won 50 in a row, and it was a life-changing experience for me. It really was, because I found something that I could do better than most people. I set records in Golden Gloves wins, and I got to go a lot of places and meet a lot of people. And uh, I, I would I lost 16 fights, and I should have lost two. You know, but you just get, as they say, you get snuck up on every day, and I got snuck up on.
So, how tall of a guy are you?
6'1". I was
And
6'1" and 146 pounds, and I had the reach on most people, which meant that if they wanted to beat me, if they wanted to compete, even they had to come to me. They had to come, and that was of that. As soon as we got within arm's length, well, I had a I had a big right hand waiting for them. What a wonderful time in my life it was. That was for about 10 years.
who are some of the boxers that are your heroes that you looked up to?
I met so many of them. Of course, the very top one, and I, well, gosh, 50 years, 60, uh, Muhammad Ali. And I used to see him, still see him every year at a golf tournament that he would go to for Senator match up in Utah. And Muhammad Ali was a good friend of his, and I was a friend of Ormatch. And so we would be there every year. And this was in the last, you know, 10 and 12, 14 years of his life. And he didn't say a whole lot. But when he did say something, you know, he want me to talk to him. You go ahead and talk, and let's remember this stuff. And I would tell him about different fighters that I knew he fought, and he one time, gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he won. Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay, and he fought this guy in the finals for the championship and the Golden Gloves. And I can't remember the guy's name. And I said, I brought his name up. He said, "Yeah, I knocked him out because he called me a name."
Wow.
uh, he was quite a guy, a real person.
We just had someone come on and said, love the part you played with Jerry Reed and Burt Reynolds. Tell me now, you were a firefighter, and tell us how you got your role in Paper Moon.
Oh, that is one of the, you know, we've all got a story, but that one is my story. I had never been in a grade school play. I love being up for people and hitting people in the nose. Uh, I think it was just another step to be in front of the camera. I saw an article in the Dallas paper in 1973, uh, in June of '73, that said some big director who I've never heard of. That's me and my brother. You have to pick which one you think is me. Uh, and
The one in the
and
back.
In what?
The one in the back.
Yep. Uh, my brother is 10 months and 27 days older than me. Uh, so I saw an article in the Dallas paper. It said some big director by the name of Peter Bogdanovich was coming to Dallas to audition people to be extras in a picture called Paper Moon. And I thought, well, hey, that'd be fun. So I went down and stood in line with 450 people. And through a series of things over the next couple of, I wound up with the sixth largest part in the picture and a co-starring role. I had never been in a grade school play, but it was, I was they took me to St. Joseph, Missouri to do Paper Moon, and I was there for a week, and it was of a real week of everything was right on me. We did, it was doing one scene right after. I'm only in 4 scenes, but they're all scenes that take time to shoot. They would take each scene would take a day anyway, and gosh, I just loved it. And when I finished, though, Madeline Kahn told me that we were going to work together again one of these days. And I said, "Oh, I don't think so. I'm a fireman." She said, "I know you're a fireman, but we're going to work together again." Boom. 3 months later, well, actually, it turned out to be 4 months later, I'm doing Blazing Saddles with her. and,
So
uh,
that movie obviously is this iconic movie. Mel Brooks, it was obviously a role that obviously to this day you're associated with. Tell me
oh, yeah.
about tell me about the longevity of that movie and the people that still talk to you about that.
Oh, it was for being in the business. People will kill for a role like that because it changes a career. It changes a career in acting, and it did mine. I as soon as Blazing Saddles was over, I came back to Dallas, got all my stuff, and moved to Los Angeles, and I was there for 23 years, and it was the best 23 years, all brought on actually Blazing Saddles. Of course, Paper Moon was the one that started it, but Blazing Saddles was the one that ahead of many character actors who standing in line to have the parts that I was getting.
So tell me a little bit about working with people like Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks. Tell us a little bit about those folks you worked with on that movie.
I did not know when Mel Brooks called me the first time. I'd never heard of Mel Brooks. I never heard of Gene Wilder. I never heard Cleavon Little. Of course, Cleavon was just then breaking into television. Nobody exactly who he was, but everybody was so helpful to me. They knew that I was handpicked by Mel Brooks, and that I was going to do something, and they all pointed out that I knew nothing. I mean, I knew nothing, but they were all so helpful. Everybody, all of the stars, nobody ever told me how to play my part, but they would tell me, every one of them, same thing. Just think about who your character is and where he's coming from and where he's going. And golly, it was like, it was as easy as falling out of a tree, because I was able to do with that character anything I wanted to do. And it was the first time I had ever been in any position where I could turn myself loose. And that's what being an actor is. Turn yourself loose and let it go.
That's a great story. Now I want to jump ahead to the 1980s because my favorite scene in Fletch, the one we're gonna show. What I wanted to do was I wanted to roll that clip and then come back and talk about it. So Ben, if you have the clip from Fletch that has Burton and Chevy Chase, why don't you go ahead and roll that clip, and then we'll come back and talk to Burton in a moment.
Hey, you the guy from Ajax? Yeah, you bet.
All right.
Who you bringing the 8th? Yeah, well, they're on their way. I'm the supervisor. I don't carry this stuff. Who's bringing them, Freddie? Yeah, Freddie.
Supposed to be here over an hour ago, boy.
Well, traffic was murder. You know, one of those manure spreaders jackknifed on the Santa Ana. God-awful mess. You should see my shoes. Whew. Stanwich, baby, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Looks well used.
He's back and forth to Utah every weekend.
Oh, is that right? What is he, a Mormon?
I don't think he's doing a whole lot of singing with the Tabernacle Choir.
These executives, they live hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, I sure do. Ah, that's a terrific wing. I love this shape.
Hey, do us a favor, pal.
Name's Liddy. Gordon Liddy.
Gord, take a look at the 7th Fetzer valve, will you? I think it's been sticking.
Probably the humidity.
That's funny. No, what I think it is myself is the bypass line.
That could be the bypass line, yeah. Maybe I should take a look at it.
Gordo. Back here?
Don't tell me my business, boy. Just checking the luggage. Somebody ought to clean these windows. There is a tremendous buildup of gook all over them. Look at that.
Well, so I've probably seen that movie like 50 times over the years, and that scene just kills me. What was it like to work with Chevy Chase?
Oh, it was absolutely great. Everybody told my agent. It started with my agent, but after we agreed to do the picture, he said, and everybody, oh, you're gonna hate working with Chevy Chase. He's so hard to work with. He's demanding, and he won't give you a minute's rest. I said, oh. Well, the day before we shot that scene, he called me and he said, "Hey, we're working over here at a park in Beverly Hills. Why don't you come over for lunch if you got time?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So I went over, and at lunch, he and I went to his dressing room, and he said, "I don't like this scene. I hate the way it's set up. Let you and I just improv this thing and forget about the words that are on the page. Let's just have fun with this thing." He said, "I know you can do that." I said, "Sure, yeah." So from the get-go, every word was, we knew where we had to start and where we had to finish, but everything in the middle of that was ad-lib. We just turned it loose. Improv is the most wonderful thing for an actor. If you're comfortable with what the character is, you can take him to where you want to go. And in that scene with us, who was also an airplane mechanic, we did not tell him what we were doing. And if you'll notice, every time it's kind of a question mark. He knew it was time for him to say something. He'd say, yeah, he got that look, and I'd say, "Yeah, he got that look." It really is a great scene, and it was all Chevy Chase's direction. He took over for that scene and said, "Let's do it this way," and boy, we did.
Boy, the best thing is when he just says, his name is Gordon Liddy.
Gordo. Yeah, you're Gordo.
Unbelievable. Now, fast forward now to the 1990s. How do you end up being a skydiver with Nicolas Cage and Honeymoon in Vegas?
The director of that was Andrew Bergman. He wrote the first draft of Blazing Saddles, and he wanted a character much like that Blazing Saddles. So he called me and said, "Hey, I've got this partner, and just a small. It's a long scene that I want you to do for me." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Have you got any money?" He said, "We got a lot of money." I said, "Okay, we can do this." It was, and Nick Cage was great. I thought we would work together again once. It just didn't work out. But we had a great time. And people say, "Did you really jump out of that airplane?" I said, "I sure did." About 8 or 10 times that I'd have to tell them, well, an asterisk by that, 8 or 10 times. I jumped about 5 feet to an airbag.
And I think Ben's got a photo of you and Nicolas Cage dressed in those suits. I don't know if you got that photo. Put it up on the screen. But what were those outfits you were wearing, Burton?
They were made by a costume maker in Los Angeles, and he always made all of Elvis Presley's outfits. Made all of them. There we go, right there, and they made 20 of them. They were, and if I own what it was going to turn out to be, that would have been part of our contract. We said, "Oh, listen, on top of the money, we want the outfit, the Blazing, the Honeymoon in Vegas outfit," and they would have said, "Sure." The last time I saw those costumes was when we did the world premiere. They had the guys parking cars in my outfit, and I could have had it if I'd have just said that outfit.
Ah, darn it. Well, next time, right?
Next time. That's exactly right.
Now, we also have another clip, and Ben's going to get that right. I like to keep my producer on his toes because he's got the magic touch when it comes to this live streaming stuff. But Ben, we're going to go to the clip from Back to the Future Part 3. So this was back in the Wild Wild West, and Back to the Future Part 3, I think, came out just 6 months after Part 2. I know the trilogy ended with it. So Ben, why don't you go ahead and roll the clip with Burton, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
That's you. You want to give it a try?
No, thanks. Hey, Doc, this...
Son! Honey boy!
Doc can dance.
Son! Hey! I just told you that even a baby can handle this weapon. Surely you're not afraid to try something that a baby could do.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of
Oh,
nothing.
come on, man. Let's just step up here like a baby. Now, what you do is you just ease that hammer back there and squeeze off around. No. Right on out there and be real smooth. That's the way you do it. Oh,
Listen, can I try that again?
yeah, go ahead. Hey, just tell me one thing. Where did you learn to shoot like this?
7-Eleven.
Oh, what a great scene. Now,
7-Eleven.
the difference with a movie
was...
like that is that you had to know going into it that you were part of a hit franchise. It wasn't as much of a taking a chance situation, right?
Oh, it was. I knew that this was going to be big. The first one was the very best one of the bunch. but it really put the Back to the Future and Bob Zemeckis, Bob Gale, who writers and producers, and the director. The first one put them on the map. The second one established them forever, and the third one had to be a big hit, and it was. That was Bob Zemeckis called me and he said, "Listen, I got this little picture I'm doing," and I knew that Bob. I was talking to him on the phone. I'd never talked to Bob Zemeckis. He said, "I'm doing this little picture," and I said, "Well, what picture is that?" He said, "It's Back to the Future 3," and I said, "Oh." So we got together and did that picture, and gosh, so good working with Michael J. Fox. And of course, he was going at that time with a little girl named Nancy McKeon. You remember Nancy McKeon, who was on whatever the name of that show was.
Family Ties.
Family Ties. And so I knew her brother, and it all just worked out to be part of a big family that I was invited to be in. And golly, what wonderful people to work with. It was probably the first picture I ever worked on that I knew was part of history being made in movies, and it was.
It's amazing the generations of people that, I mean, my daughter's 10 years old and she knows all three Back to the Future films. And my 10 and 12-year-old, I mean, people just know those films. It's like each generation grows up on them.
Oh yeah, that movie, those three will be around forever, as Blazing Saddles will be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, so let's turn to TV for a few minutes here, because we were talking about the different. I mentioned some of the shows you were in. I used to be a big fan of the A-Team and the Fall Guy, but I heard you say in an interview once that your favorite role on a TV show was on the TV show Alice.
Yeah.
What was how did you get involved with that, and why did that become your favorite? And there you are, by the way.
There I am. Oh, it was another. I had I had 4 different outfit changes, and each one was better than the one just before. And they were all Elvis Presley type cowboy outfits, and that one will always go down as being one of the great TV shows I did. The producers came to me after the show and said, "Hey, you to be a regular on our show." And I said, "Oh, that'd be good." And that was on a night after we'd done the show. And on Sunday, I found out it wasn't going to work out because, there are, in television, there's a whole jealousy that goes on. And how do I say this? One of the big stars on the show did not want me because character got a lot of laughs. That would be, golly, that would be Alice herself. She really didn't want me, but it was a funny character. So let's drop that.
Well, then let's move on to.
That only cost me about $15 million.
I know, darn it. But now, so tell us about, and I know we've taken a lot of your time today, so I just got a couple more questions. But tell us about your work with Burt Reynolds and how you met him, and then how it turned into the show you did, Evening Shade.
Okay, I met. Do you remember Robbie Benson?
Refresh my memory.
Robbie Benson was in he wrote a picture when he was 17 years old. He wrote a picture called a basketball picture. Well, heck, see, I'm good at names. Well, anyway, Robbie was a real hot prodigy when he was 18 years old. He lived in New York. I did a picture with him, and his mother and father asked me if he could come out and live with me or stay with me for a few months the next summer after he graduated college, high school. So I said, sure, bring him on. He came out, he lived with me. And all of a sudden, he got a picture with Burt Reynolds, Liza Minnelli, Gene Hackman down in Limas, Mexico. So I went down one weekend to hang out with those guys. I went with Gene Hackman in his private plane that he flew. He flew his private plane. So I went down with him, and I met Burt Reynolds and had a great time for a week. Came back, and about 3-4 months later, I got a phone call from a guy who said, "Hey, this is Burt." And I'm thinking, I thought of Burt Metcalf, who was the creator of MASH. I just met him, and he talking. He said he wanted me to do a picture, and I'm thinking, golly, what would Burt Metcalf? He's in television. I finally had to say, "I'm sorry, I don't know which Burt I'm talking to." He said, "Burt Reynolds." I said, "Oh my gosh," you know. And he asked me if I'd do a picture with him. That was, of course, Gator. He said, "This is a role that you're going to be with us 6 weeks. You'll probably work about 10 days." And I said, "Golly, it sounds good." So I went down to Savannah, Georgia with him, and the very best time. Burt Reynolds was the easiest person to ever work with. Burt took everybody's view on every character and rolled it around his head, and your ideas were better than his. He said, "Let's do it your way. This is the way to go." Burt was my favorite person to ever work with. When Burt died, 5 weeks to the day before he passed away, he sent me, I hadn't talked to him then in about 4 years, sent me a video. And I right here. And he was dressed in a overdressed, some kind of a heavy business. He had a cane. He was sitting in a big overstuffed chair, and it just came on, and he said, "Hi, Burton. Burt Reynolds here." He said, "I just wanted you to know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you helping to make my career." And he said, "I don't know how you did it. I couldn't do it." And he said, "I'm talking about the name Burton because that was Burt's real name. His name was Burton Leon Reynolds. My name is Burton Lee Gilliam." And he was telling me in this video, Burton just wouldn't work for him. He was glad to see that the name Burton would work for somebody. And he ended by saying, "I don't know how much I love you. I hope to see you." He didn't say, "I hope to see you again." He said, "I hope to see you." And you know what? I would.
Wow, that's an amazing story. That's great. I mean, he's just one of those legendary people, and that was great that you had such a great relationship with him and worked with him so much like that.
It was
That's
just
amazing.
a wonderful thing and everybody loved Burt. But Burt was always on, it seemed like, for people who were trying to get something out of him. because there were a lot of they were hangers-on that Bert had no use for, and one step out of the way, boy, he was on them. He really was on them. I loved him for that. There were actors that I knew he didn't like because they had wronged him down the road, and when he was around them, they better watch their P's and Q's because he would come after them, and he did.
Well, Burton, I want to thank you so much for taking time tonight. It was a long time in coming because we started talking almost a year ago. And so to finally have you on the show, and thanks to Bobby for making it happen. And I'll tell you what, we hope in a few months during July or August or whenever we schedule, I'll be so excited to meet you in person and welcome you to our little town here in Rhode Island. So it was great to talk to you tonight, but I look forward to
you. And I look forward to coming to, what's the name of the little town?
It's Mesquamaket Beach.
There you are. That's exactly what I would say. I look forward to being there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Burton.
Bye now.
Bye. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Caswell Cooke Show just keeps on rolling, and our guests are amazing. And I don't even know who our next guest is going to be, but whoever it is, they're going to have to reach a high bar to beat all those great stories with Burton. And boy, to hear those stories about Blazing Saddles, to hear about working with Chevy Chase, and to hear that awesome story about Burt Reynolds, really great. So we're just fortunate that we had Burton on our show, and we're going to be very, very excited to bring him to our town. So this summer, look forward to that happening. So everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for watching the Caswell Cooke Show. Thank you to Bobby Bank. Thank you to Ben Barber, my producer, and of course the legendary Burton Gillam. Good night, everybody. Good night, Mom.